Hello everyone, namaste. So today I am actually using a different cam, see how it's working today, and the scenery is a little bit different. So we're taking this sacred moment together to ground, to reconnect back to our Mother Earth, feeling the ground that we are sitting on, connecting to our chakras, bringing our awareness to the breath. Again, as I said, I call this breath of aloha, Holy Spirit. One of the best ways to ground ourselves, heal ourselves, connecting to the unity of all that there is connecting to the breath, to the heart energy. Taking a deep breath through the nose. And exhalation, releasing all the tension in the shoulders, the skull, the forehead, the bones and the muscles around the eyes and your jaws. You can just open your mouth slightly and massage your jaws and release the tension out of your face. Our face actually holds a lot of tension. You know, if you look at your face or you take a picture of yourself where your body or your psyche is going through stress, if you have anxiety or depression or whatever, the first thing that gets affected is your face. So, and the face holds a lot of tension, usually in this area, even around the eyes and in the jaws, right? So it's really important to guide your breath, the breath of aloha, the sacred breath, the Holy Spirit, guide it to your face. And exhalation, releasing all the stress from the back of the head, from the neck, from the shoulder, and from the face. Inhalation and exhalation, releasing all the heaviness in your heart chakra, connecting to your heart, connecting to the energy of the heart, connecting to the heart chakra. Inhalation, exhalation, connecting to your solar plexus where the stomach is. This is one of the most important areas also. I mean, all areas are important, especially the areas that are connected to our main chakras. We hold a lot of stress also in our solar plexus. That's why a lot of people start having stomach issues when they're going through stress. So it's very important to stay mindful, connecting to our chakras and releasing tension, stress out of them. So this way you're preventing from accumulations of tension and energies that it can harm the body. So today, one of the things that I would like to speak about is the collective energies of our environment and even the planet as a whole. But usually the collective energies that affects us more is the energy of our environment, of our neighbors, of the shopping malls that we go to, of the banks that we deal with, of the hospitals, of the organizations that we are working for. So the collective energies of this people affects us, affects our psyche, affects our emotional and mental well-being, and it also affects our body consequently, of course. So how do we stay mindful of that? Like, the reason that this is coming up so strongly, the other day I went to a bank, and the energies of these mainstream organizations usually is not in sync with my energy, because I'm all about slowing down, taking a deep breath, cleansing myself on all levels. And as I spoke about in my previous videos, all the facade and all the house of cards around me and within me are just crumbling and falling down. The house of card of identification with profit, with materialism, identification with the degrees of the university, so I can, inflate my ego. In Sufism, they call ego nafs. I'm coming from a Sufi background, and I always was very much attracted to the philosophy of Sufism. A lot of people attach Sufism to Islam, whereas Islam in that region of Middle East pre-existed Islam. It existed before the Islam. So Sufism is actually not a religion. It's a way of being. Is a way of connecting to the wholeness of all that there is, connecting to that unity. Again, you might want to call it God or divine being, universal consciousness, or the one, or some people call it the big void, whatever you might want to call it. It doesn't mean, but doesn't mean anything. It's just what it's important is just to connect to that totality, connecting to all that there is and there isn't. I know it's very difficult for the brain to grasp that idea, but I'm sure a lot of you that are watching my videos, they're also watching a lot of other contents that are related to non-duality, meditation, and living a sacred life that is in alignment with our true nature and the totality of all beings, the connectiveness of all that there is, humans, animals, insects, planets, the void, the black hole, even the objects. We are sharing all elements, we are sharing energies at all times. So anyways, I went to this bank, and immediately I got affected by this energy. Again, I don't want to call it a dark energy or negative energy, but it was an energy that was not fully in sync with the energy that I would like to be around, the energy that I'm trying to co-create, and the energy that I would like to have within my own body and psyche and mental space and energetic space. This energy was in a bit of discord. So I talked to the security in that bank, and then I talked to their top manager, and I was with this manager in the room, and it's just, I felt like this energy of anger and rage was coming through me. There was a discord of energy. There was no full connectivity going on. Like, in another word, he couldn't get me. He couldn't understand my concerns. Like, it seemed like there was a disconnect on all levels between this person and me. And I couldn't get my message across, and he would purposely and unconsciously on all levels was not receiving what I was trying to say. And he was making the whole thing as if like he was doing me a huge favor for seeing me, even though I was communicating with him because of a mistake that they have done on their level. So he was not apologizing. He was twisting and turning my concern and making it sound something that it wasn't. So it was creating a discord. It was creating anger, discomfort, and some sort of a blockage in my heart because I couldn't connect with this being the way that human beings are supposed to connect, which is supposed to be an open exchange of energy, giving and receiving, communication, a communication that it's for the best intention of everybody within that room and around. It wasn't, the conversation wasn't of that nature. And it started, sucking the vital energy out of me, and I was drained and I was getting angry. This person stood up and he opened the door and asked me to leave, even though I was not disrespectful, I was not raising my voice, but I think the discord of energy was creating a thick layers that we both couldn't breathe in. So I left the room and I wasn't happy. I left the room and I took his business card and I left and I went to a different financial institutions. They're not banks. In here we call them credit unions. And immediately the person received me with open heart, and I went and talked to this beautiful lady inside and out, and immediately everything got resolved, and I transferred my fund from this bank to the credit union. Done. Easy transactions. Our energies were so in sync. We were just wanting the best for each other, even though that it was a business transaction, in a financial institution, but still it's important that we were connecting as human beings energetically, and we were respectful in all our mannerism. She didn't want to scam me, she didn't want to take my money, she didn't want to steal from me, she didn't want to fool me, and I could sense it. And she could also sense my energy, that I'm coming there with open heart and I mean well, and I don't want to be taken advantage of. And her energy was so receiving of that. So everything was done and I came back home. But still, that residue of the previous interaction was left in my energetic field. I could feel that the color of my aura was changed. I felt that my energy was really lower, and still I had that residue of anger and frustration within me. And I started like ruminating the whole conversation within my head. So what can we do in these situations? Again, we are going back to the energy of the breath. In that moment, I acknowledged the feelings that I was going through internally. Yes, I was angry. So again, I didn't try to push the anger away and deny and say like, oh, whatever happened, it's okay, everybody's going through it, it doesn't matter, he was probably stupid, or just to sort of like justifying it in my head to make myself feel better. No, I sat with it, I sat with my feeling, I sat with my anger, and I acknowledged the fact that I was upset, that the way that he treated me was not nice. It created a discord within my body. He perhaps resembled some people from my past, that they were disrespectful. So I tapped into my feeling and found out what wound he was scratching, what old wound within me he was scratching. And usually these wounds are about the wounds of abandonment, feeling not good enough, feeling of shame, all these sorts of things. The feelings that perhaps our parents or our caretakers or the schooling system in our childhood somehow created. So this guy was scratching those wounds. Perhaps he himself was filled with all those wounds, and he was projecting his own childhood wounds onto me. And of course, because I also had those wounds, I was triggered. So in those cases, one of the best things is to acknowledge your feeling, that you're angry, you're upset, you're frustrated. Locate where that feeling is in your body while you're going through that feeling. In my case, the feeling was just right in my back, just the mirror image of my heart, right in the back. So the most important thing is to guide the breath in that area. Exhalation. You're safe. I kept on telling myself, you're safe right now. In this present moment, you're safe. The guy is gone. Tend to this wound as if somebody is backstabbing you with a knife. Yes, I felt backstab. I felt that I trusted these people and they wanted to scheme me. They wanted to take advantage of me with my money. In a way, they wanted to steal from me. They wanted to fool me. And I felt I was backstabbed. It was not the first time I felt I was backstabbed. So I tended to the wound. You can tend to that wound by staying silent and listening to the message that your body has to tell you. And your body doesn't usually speak in a language. It speaks with pain, different sensations, feelings, and emotions. Allowing the breath to go to the wound and the discomfort, the back of the heart. Feeling of backstabbing. Listening to your body as how can you tend to this feeling as if a knife just got stuck into your back by somebody who you trusted or you wanted to trust. Taking a deep breath and exhalation. During this meditation yesterday, I realized that this wound was first created by somebody that was supposed to love me as a child. And it's very sad. I acknowledge this grief that is inside me that goes back to the childhood that says, you were supposed to love me. You were supposed to love me more than everybody else. And I felt that instead you grabbed that knife and stabbed my back on numerous occasions. And as I am saying this, I acknowledge the sadness. And that's okay. There's no shame in tears. There's no shame in crying. There's no shame in authenticity and honesty. No. It actually requires courage to yourself and to others to be honest. So I tended to my wound. I tended to my wound. I held a sacred space. I lit some candles. I dimmed the light. And I spoke to that wounded back of mine. The mirror image of my heart is just right in the back. Figuratively and through imagination, I took the knife out and put healing leaves, figuratively in my imagination, on the wound and continued talking to that wound. And I asked myself, what is it that you need? At that time, I needed to rest. I needed to rest on the yoga mat, on my back, facing up. I continued on holding my hands on my heart and connecting my breath to my heart in the back, inviting the loving energies there. Again, acknowledging what happened during the day. Inhalation, exhalation, gently and kindly releasing the sadness that I processed within me, the energy of backstabbing that I processed within me, the energy of that little child that I used to be, and being completely shocked when I was treated that way by the people that were supposed to love me. This guy was a nobody really in my life. He was just somebody that I happened to meet for like 5 to 6 minutes in his office, right? But yet through these interactions, these day-to-day interactions, a lot of these people can, and they do, bring up our old wounds if the wounds have not been tended to properly. So that's just an invitation to go back to the wound and however you can, communicating with it, staying in silence with your wounds, allowing the breath to go there and exhaling the unwanted energy. Exhaling that. Do not hold it. Do not carry that energy in. And then when that feeling comes about, again, coming back to that sacred space of silence, of quiet. You can lie down on the yoga mat, you can sit on a chair. Having a sacred space like this, that nobody would bother you, would also help. And listening to the heart, listening to your energy. And just like that, my heart felt so much lighter. That heaviness, that tension in my back muscles just eased up. The tension went away, it dissipated. My shoulders went down, and for that moment, I felt so much better. I made sure that I am not going to hold on to that energy that this man puked onto me, which scratched my old wounds. So whatever he puked onto me through his untrustworthy behavior, I just exhale it out. I don't allow his energy to linger in my body. I pray that all that energy that this unaware, untrustworthy man created to come out of my body, I acknowledge that his energy does not belong to me, does not belong to my heart. And I gently and I slowly release that energy, and I tend to the energy of my heart and the backstabbing wound that has already been there. It's an old wound. So on a daily basis, I take some silence, quiet moment, create my safe space of calm, and listen to this energy. I communicate with it, and I release whatever needs to be released. That was just an example for you on how to tap into this energy. So if we go into the society, into the bank, into the schools, hospitals, to our work, to the malls, to the shopping malls, to the streets. I actually found out that a lot of people who are watching my videos are from India. And I have watched videos from the streets of India, and some of these streets are very busy and chaotic. So if you're in India, then I suggest that you do these cleansing energies more often, because you are even more bombarded by all these energies that are constantly around you, by the crowd, by so many peoples, by living inside homes that there's so many people are living in these extended families. They're all living in these homes and families. So the quiet space that a lot of us can have in Western countries, you might not have. So it's extremely, extremely important that you do find some peace and quiet within you to connect to that energy of aloha, to that sacred energy, taking an inhalation, holding the breath, and exhalation, and releasing and cleansing yourself of that chaotic energy. If somebody makes you upset, just one of the ways to get rid of that rumination in your head and getting upset and just holding that heaviness in your heart is through these meditative acts, to connecting to your body, locating where the tension is created, where these wounds are. Okay? You can just, I sometimes put my hand right in that wound in my back and one hand, and I say, here with you. I'm here to protect you. You can tell me whatever you need to tell me. And that's what they're also referred, these wounds also, as inner children. Certain feelings, certain wounds, certain trauma that happened in our childhood gets trapped in the body and represents itself as internal wounds. They cannot be seen and they cannot be felt. Sometimes if you go to a healer or a massage therapist that is trained to work with you on an energetic level, they can feel these wounds in your body. But you can also help yourself. You can also locate these wounds or your inner children and allow this release to happen through the breath, through the quietness, through deep listening to your body. So the collective affects the individual and the individual affects the collective. So it's very important that we transmute and alchemize these negative, dark energies that others puke onto us through our day-to-day interactions. We need to sit with ourselves at the end of the day, and if somebody has upset you, that upsetting resembles sticking a knife into your heart or to your back, or you feel that feeling that this person created in you, which that's not the right way of putting it, that weight or that wound has already been in you, and these people scratch those wounds and they add to that weight that has already been on your shoulders, because those people are also going through the same type of backgrounds and emotional wounding and collective trauma and generational trauma that you went through. And if their trauma is similar to the trauma that you have experienced in your childhood, they can more affect you when you interact with them. They sort of like puke into the same type of wounds that you have. So in that way, it can affect you more. So all these unaware people that they threw their darkness onto you, they are a good opportunity for you to locate your own wounds, your own childhood wounds, the stuff that have been accumulating in your body, to heal them. Because if we don't heal these wounds, they can represent as chronic pain and chronic illness and chronic tension in our body. So it's extremely important to release and let go. So now, after this video, I'm gonna go prepare myself a really healthy organic meal, pampering myself, and then make sure that at the end of the day, I sit on my yoga mat. I do yoga and the breath work, and having silent moment with myself to speak deeply, kindly, and compassionately to my body, to tend to my childhood wound and release these negative energies out of my body. Namaste, people. Hope this video has helped you. Please write down your comments if you have anything to add into this video, and how are you dealing with these negative energies around you. If you go out and somebody just throws these negative energies at you and their own internal wounds at you, how do you deal with these energies? Namaste, and many blessings to you and all your loved ones. Be kind to yourself. and others. Bye for now, and see you soon.